right? The model for freedom is ability to do it when you want to,
Exactly.
right? Transfer skill to others, develop people, but also you're developing something that has retention. Welcome to the library, Dr. Burns.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, this is good, man. I'm finally glad we finally have done this. We've been talking about this for months now.
Yes.
Last couple months, and so good, man. I love your hat, man. Trust the process.
Yes.
Tell us what that means, man.
For me, what it means is a foundation. We all want to take, sometimes individuals want to take shortcuts in life, right? Whether in relationship, business, anything in life. My thing is I want to trust my process because at the end of the day, we need a process to help us get to point A to point B. And most people don't understand what their processes could be or what they are.
That's awesome, man. You got one of the things that we were talking about was about, and I want to dive into the subject a little bit with you just because this is real for a lot of people, is leaders get tired too.
Yeah.
Leaders get tired too.
We do. We get tired.
It's one of your posts yesterday.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Let's chat about that a little bit because I know sometimes we want to, our masculinity maybe wants to show a certain thing, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're humans. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're like a shock absorber of people.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Let's dialogue a little bit about that.
We as leaders, we get tired too. Even I look at DC Comics, I love Superman, right? I'm like, what is his kryptonite, right? And everybody knows he has kryptonite. What does he does? He want to save everybody. He want to be everything for everyone. But sometimes he has to slow down himself as well. And sometimes I see us, we take on so much pressure. We carry so many crosses that to the point that sometimes we forget about ourselves and who's putting things back into us. That's why I say, hey man, leaders get tired too.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, but I have part of, there's a part where I read this a while back from one of the books from Steve Siebold. He talks about the rest work cycle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? There's like a rest work cycle where you know how to pace yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just so you don't burn out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a part of that. What's some of the things that you do? Just to kind of
Meditate.
meditate?
Yeah, get away from all the negativity. Just go meditate by yourself, sit down, and really look back on what's important and what's not important. I think a lot of times we wrap ourselves up in trying to help so many people, but sometimes we get those what I call ankle togglers that hold onto your ankles and they drag you back down. And if you understand energy, sometimes when we're in the vortex of negative energy, we tend to stay there sometimes to the point that we just lose ourselves. By the time we come out of that negative energy space, we lost our house, our wives, our children, even ourselves.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I've gone through that with certain things in my life. Especially when I know you've gone through some of this yourself, where it's the process of grieving and losing someone and all that stuff. I have I've lost my dad almost 4 years ago, and that was just for me. I talked to my dad like almost every day. So
wow.
And all of a sudden it was like gone, right?
Yes.
So it was every day. It was like I wanted to reach out. In fact, I still kept his number till today. Like my daughter has his number.
Yeah.
Because like as soon as my daughter was born, it was like my dad fell in love with my daughter and kind of the whole thing there. But I kept his number because of that. Right? Yeah. I mean, so just as when I'm calling my daughter, it's still my dad's number.
Yeah.
And so anyway, how'd you deal with that? With all that? I mean, obviously you got a lot of things you've dealt with in the past. I mean, you've from the Marine Corps to losing folks. I mean, just loved ones and I don't know. I obviously I've never been through what you've been through, and so I just wanted to kind of get an insight. And in spite of, you still win. In spite of, you still trust the process. In spite of all these other things, I mean, there's a part of this where, I mean, you have to have almost like change the meaning of things or like the way you perceive it to be able to function.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
If not, you're dysfunctional. Because I know how that felt, at least for when I lost my dad. I mean, talk about what the experience was for you.
I mean, losing my son. Lost my son, he was at the age of 10 years old. And for me, having to bury my son, flying from Nevada over to Virginia and going through that pace, one thing about us as parents, we never look at having to bury our kids. Wow. They're always saying, my kid's gonna bury me. And sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. And there's a process. Just 2 years ago, I just released my son. I want you to think about that. It's been almost 20 years to the day.
Wow.
He was born on Mother's Day. It took me 20 years just to release him. Because
What's that mean for you, releasing it?
not holding on no more. Not saying it should have been me. Not saying if I would have been there, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of therapy, man.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of self-reflection and letting go of all the guilt that you have, because that's my baby. I taught him how to throw his first football. I taught him how to shoot his first shot, how to ride his first bike, you know? That was me. But not to have that chance to go to a baseball game with him, a basketball game with him, not to be in business with my son, that hurts like hell, bro. Like, but it's a process.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was able to release him 2 years ago, I felt the weight of that cross that I was bearing just come off me. Even though I think about him all the time, it's not that force that it was before.
Yeah. What's the gift that it brought to you? Because I know there were some gifts that I know that obviously through that trauma and years, and I mean, there's like sometimes constantly reliving certain experiences. What was the gift outside of that? Because I know I was listening to Nicky Cannon, who lost, lost someone as well, and he said grieving never ends. It's just you change the way you look at it, and there's the gift and behind it that he looks at on the way he impacts the world through someone's death and the way he can relate. And so what's that for you? Is there
Forgiveness. Forgiving myself for not being where I thought I should have been. You know, patience. Taking every day and not taking it for granted. One thing about life owes me nothing, but I owe life everything. And once I understood that point, like, wow, I began to live again. It put me in a different vortex, a different energy shift. And once I understood that alignment, that cross that I was bearing wasn't my cross to begin with. I thought it was. I made myself to believe that it was. That's because there was a certain process I was going through. But it wasn't the correct process. It wasn't, not at all.
Yeah, wow, that's big, man. You got now translate. You said that's 2 years ago. That wasn't that long ago.
Exactly.
So what? So after that, what's that like? After that, the last 2 years, how's that been for you, versus the last decade or so? Or
I don't forget.
Yeah.
It's not as emotionally as hard as it was for me in the beginning stages, but I remember. I remember the good times. I remember the laughter. Sometimes I can still hear the laughter, as weird as it might sound. You still hear the laughter because that's what I last remember him as, right? But now going forward, it's like, for me, it's calm. I believe that he's in a safe and better place than I'll ever be right now. I believe that one day I'm going to see him again. And we're going to sit there and laugh and say, you know what? You taught me something even after you was gone. I learned a valuable lesson. And that was to be patient and forgiveness. And without me going through that process, I don't think I would have ever been able to do that.
That's awesome, man. That's it's crazy what I mean, and then there's so much, there's kind of layers to this, and then there's gifts behind it. I mean, one of the things that happened, I had the fear of death ever since I was a child.
Wow.
And I like every time my mom or dad would leave, I just didn't know if they were going to come back. I don't know how I encountered the fear of death.
I've counted it so many times.
Well, so maybe that's why.
I don't have that fear, but there's it's enough healthiness there that I can see it to be, right?
Yeah.
So do I fear it? The answer is no, but I understand it.
Yeah.
Because I've been there quite a few times.
Yeah.
I've had vehicle rollovers and stuff like that. So
yeah, you've gone through that. I didn't go through anything close to that, but when my dad passed, it's one of the fears that I let go of. It was like the gift from that was because I used to go to every plane and just kind of, this might be last. This is it. Every plane ride, everything. It was just kind of constantly in my brain. It was kind of hindering me from just certain things, and I just got free when that took place. Because I never, there was funerals I attended and families, dying here and there, but it wasn't never someone I communicated with on a regular basis, right? Okay. Until my dad passed. So that was a big thing. So talk about the journey now, man, for you. Where are you headed? Where's this process going, man? I know you got big dreams and goals and vision, and you are. I've seen you driven by the right things, which is huge. There's a lot of people just their carrot and stick is kind of, their moral compass is not there.
Yeah.
I see you with your moral compass in the right place. You operate, in this great moral compass, man, where you know where you're headed. You always operate to what's good, what's right.
It took a while for me to get to that point in my life. It was a lot of times in my life. I mean, from the beginning, my father. I love my father. I love him to life. I really do. My father made a promise to me. He's like, hey, on Saturday on this day, August 14th, I'm gonna take you. I can never forget it. August 14th, 1994. I'm gonna take you to Talladega University down in Alabama. It never happened. It never happened, and it crushed me so much. And that's how I got into the Marine Corps. I had two things in my life that was gonna happen to me. I was gonna be a drug dealer, or I was gonna be a pastor. I don't want to be a pastor, man. That's too much. That's a burden to carry so many people that you're going to be a shepherd over these sheep, right? And I'm not a perfect person. I don't want to appear to be a perfect person at all. I couldn't be a pastor. The drug dealer side, I understood the hustle of it, but I couldn't hurt women and children in that life. So I was like, what can I really make out of my life? My teachers told me I wasn't going to be anything because I had dyslexia. I see things backwards. But I found out I'm a freaking genius. They're just too slow to understand how fast I was going.
Yeah. I read books backwards too.
I love numbers. I love numbers.
Yeah.
I love when people say I can't do something. Yeah. So for me, I wasn't supposed to be in the Marine Corps at all, period. Standing 5 feet 5, 135 pounds.
Yeah.
Every other armed service rejected me from going to the military.
Yeah.
But I had an opportunity of a lifetime that actually saved my life. The Marine Corps actually saved my life.
Wow.
Whether people believe it or not, because being a drug dealer, I could be dead or in jail. That was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? But I found myself saying, hey, if someone would just give me an opportunity just to better myself, get out of Memphis, Tennessee, I think I can make it. And on August 16th, I never forget it, this guy came
What year
out.
was this?
1994.
94.
Never forget it. Man, it was the day that my life changed forever. Walked to this guy, still inside of the curb. He came out with this nice white pants on, navy blue jacket on, big old hat on, 6'5", Caucasian guy. I said, I love your uniform. He said, yeah. I said, I like it too. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a Marine. I said, can I join your service? He said, you got to graduate high school first and take the ASVAB. I rested in my pocket. I put out a little diploma. Did they give you when you graduate a small diploma? Yeah. I said, I just graduated school, and I don't know what the ASVAB even is. He told me, he said, wait a minute, I'll be right back. He went with this other guy. At the time, I didn't know what rank he was, but he was a big guy.
Yeah.
An African-American guy. He said, hey, you got a diploma? I said, yes, sir, I got a diploma. He said, what do you want to do? I said, it don't matter. Get out of here. He said, I'll be right back for you.
Wow.
Gave me $20. Took me to McDonald's. But I think the cheeseburger was like 25 cents a cheeseburger at that time, right? Bought me a bag of cheeseburger and said, okay, you sure you want to do this? I said, yeah, I want to do this. Never taken the ASVAB. Shipped me up to Nashville, Tennessee. I was sworn in the next morning. Shipped off to
At
Paris
16?
Island, 16.
Wow.
Shipped off to Paris Island, South Carolina the next day.
Your parents had to sign off, right?
I'm emancipated. Graduated high school up to done my own.
Oh, wow.
That was it.
Wow. And
saved
that's
my life.
just kind of, and then you went to where? North Carolina?
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina.
To boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah. Saved my life, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for the world. I was scared.
Yeah.
Didn't know any better, but it helped me become the person I am today.
What's your way out, right? You get, you're with a set of other gentlemen that's kind of have the same values and training and right all this stuff that's taking place versus kind of being stuck where the city you grew up in and the zip code you're in.
I had opportunity.
Yeah.
I didn't care where it was. I went in the Marine Corps with an open contract. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I just happened to be, I could have been a cook. I could have been anything.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. And so like, I think most people, they limit themselves with the zip code they live in.
Yes.
And that's when it's kind of, they don't see that. Like most people, I know a bunch of people that still live in the same city I lived in.
Wow.
And they never seen themselves outside of that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think it's, sometimes opportunities are not in your zip code.
They're not.
It's just not. the people you meet, the maybe your future wife, or I mean, all sorts of stuff.
I took a chance. I took a major chance on myself going into that situation in the Marine Corps, and it paid off. I mean, it helped me inspire me to get all my degrees I have now. I mean, they opened many doors for me.
How many degrees you got? Because you're a doc, man.
Oh my gosh,
Dr. Burns. What do we got?
Let me see. Let's count them out. I got an associate. I got a bachelor's. I got
Holy
I got
moly.
2 masters. I got a PhD and a DBA. Think about it for a second. And Marine Corps paid for most of all of that. They paid for my last master's actually.
So you did all this while you were in the Corps?
Yes.
Wow.
They open the door for you. They give you opportunities. They do.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to take advantage of the opportunity they provide to you.
So this is 94 to what?
94. I just retired 13 years ago. You
13
do the math.
years.
13 years.
Got it.
I've been outside doing my thing now.
2010 or so?
I've been
2011, 2010?
doing my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the last decade? What's that been like? Is that what industry did you jump in? Where'd you take your leadership traits and all that stuff?
I took it to, you're not going to believe this, man. I was cleaning toilets.
After the Corps?
Yeah.
Wow.
I left the Corps, became homeless. Got divorced, became homeless. I want you to think about something.
How long was that period?
9.5 months.
Of homeless?
Yes. I lived behind a bank in Chicago with my 2-year-old daughter.
Homeless?
My parents didn't know this.
Wow.
No one knew that. And I was in school.
While
doing
homeless?
it. Yes. I would take showers at YMCA all the time. I would give her baths, sponge baths inside
You
the
said
gym area.
Chicago?
Chicago, behind the bank.
How about the weather?
It was cold, winter. Dead of winter, man.
You have blankets? I mean,
I carry a white blanket to this day.
You have it?
I carry it to this day. That blanket reminds me of where I don't want to go back to. I want you to imagine dumpster diving through dumpsters, through the McDonald's dumpsters. I was that guy that made McDonald's put the locks on their damn dumpsters. Burger King. I was that guy. I want you to imagine just knocking on people's doors and say, hey, do you have some food to eat, some food to share with me? Yeah. I did that. I mean, there's no shame in what you have to go through to make it to the next level. You don't know why you're doing it, but it's a process.
So how'd you get out of that? That's a long time to
Honestly,
be homeless.
Prayer. I prayed every day. It was not a time that I did not want to take my life.
That whole 9 months.
I contemplated every day.
But you had your daughter there.
Yes. And she would always say, Daddy, I love you. That kept me going every time. Daddy, I love you.
How old was she? 2?
2.
Is there memories? Is there memories for her?
She memories.
Wow.
And it kept me. That burning desire of just, I love you was
enough for me.
It's
like the scene with Will Smith in that movie.
That movie. Mine was worse than that.
Yeah.
Because I had a young lady. I had a baby girl. At any point, DCFS could have came in and took my baby from me.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Yeah, that's something. When I'm boiling, I took my Marine Corps traits and I started to boil water so we can have clean water to drink at night.
Where was the
man.
bathroom for your daughter? I mean, I get you, but I mean, how about her? Where's her bathroom?
We made a bathroom for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Just stuff I
survive.
think about. I mean, this is...
You survive, man.
Yeah.
People talk about being homeless, but when you actually been homeless and you come back from that situation, you're a different person.
Yeah.
So when I see people outside on the street say they can't get a job, there's an opportunity, I look at them and say, no, brother, no. If you want one, we can give you one. It's up to us what we do with the opportunity that's in front of us. So you're talking to a man who had a daughter, not another male child.
Are you telling me you have a PhD and you were homeless at that time?
I didn't have a PhD at the time.
Oh, okay.
I was going through. I was in school, going through it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what got you out of that?
Prayer, man.
Yeah, but what's the steps as far as, like, did you land a job?
No.
I mean, what was the...
I continued to pray, and the doors began to open for me. This is how it worked for me through this entire time. When I was not able to feed myself, the Father made a way for me to feed myself and my daughter. He said, if I can feed the birds of the air, what makes me think I can't feed you? And she kept saying, Daddy, I love you. When she kept telling me that, Daddy, she loved me, they kept me from taking my life. They kept me. Many times I drove on top of the railroad tracks and set my car there. And I just drove off like, okay, it's not going to work. Because I got something more to live for.
Yeah.
And each time a door would open for me, I would walk through that door. I would ask the questions. Whether people didn't want to answer or not, I would ask questions to try to make something happen. And then one day, I asked this lady who I met outside the mall, I said, hey, do you have somewhere I can stay? Never met her in my life. But for some reason, I asked that question. She said, I do. Do you have a job? I said, no, I don't. Me and my daughter have a job. She said, you have a daughter? I said, yeah, she's in the car. Her name was Tanya Reynolds. I never forget her. Like a sister to me. And she was actually the manager of an apartment complex in Zion, Illinois, which gave me the opportunity with no job, no money coming in, to sit there and get an apartment with them. And she did that. I don't know how she did it, but she did it for me. I'm grateful for that.
Did you help out in the apartment complex?
No, I didn't do anything.
Nothing? Wow.
No, had no furniture. She gave me all her furniture out of her house because she was getting new furniture into her new house. So it was great. It was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
But then I went back to school and I would apply for jobs. There wasn't no job. But then all of a sudden something came up. Someone gave me a call. Didn't know who I was. I started working at Motorola. Then I got a job at IBM. Then here I am today.
Wow. Amazing, man. First time I heard about. I mean, I knew about that. I just didn't know the length of time.
It's amazing the doors that the Father can open if you just trust and believe, and you trust His process, not your process. Because a lot of times we trust our process, we're gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
And I'm no Bible thumper. I will cuss you out and then love you at the same time.
Yeah.
But I understand what His will is versus my will. It's two different wills.
Trust the process.
Trust
baby.
the process.
Man.
I mean, divorces. I've been through a lot of stuff, man. I lost 4 houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, you're here, man. You going places. You got your dream girl with you. What'd you say? Yeah. I know.
Not my dream.
Yeah.
But his dream. Because what I think is good for me is not always good for me.
Yeah.
But what he knows is good for me, he put it right in front of your face. It's up to you if you see it. So we got 2 different sights. We got spiritual sights and we got physical sights.
Yeah.
I stopped looking with my physical eyes. I stopped. Because everybody I thought was my friends are not my friends. My brothers are not my brothers at all. It's the ones you least expect to become your friends, your brothers. It clicks. Like, why are we here together? Because he placed you here for a reason or for a season. And I believe that.
Yeah. Reason or a season. I'm going to take
That's it.
that to the bank.
That's it, man.
Reason or a season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dropping bombs.
That's what we're supposed to do. I think our lives our relationships takes on a course of its own. It depends on what season you're in, what energy space you're in. A lot of times we make choices to be in bad energy spaces, be with bad people. So a lot of times we don't know, we can be sitting right in front of someone that's worth billions of dollars and we never ask them the question.
Yeah.
But we so quick to ask the person who is lesser than the question.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So I began to ask the question, and I wanted a better opportunity. And then I got to this point by cleaning toilets, man. I made my first $1 million cleaning toilets. My friend made a joke. He said, man, all you do is clean toilets all your life. I said, bet. But he didn't know he planted the seed. Got my own janitorial company, worth $12.4 million. Think about that, bro. That's powerful. From someone who's supposed to be insulting me, you gave me the seed. Good looking out, homie. Good looking out. Good looking out, homie.
That's awesome, man. So now we're in a space where obviously you've dived into the financial industry side of things.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've been growing and all that stuff. What's the driving force now? What's the future like there?
I want to help as many people as I can. Not just with their finances, but give them ownership, equity. Give them a reason to live. Let them know that, you don't have to always, there's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5 job. I think it's always great to have when you're making the next move, next evolution in your life. For me, but it's something better for you. But you have to believe that you can actually get there yourself. The problem is that most people don't believe they actually can get to the next step themselves.
Yeah.
We're always looking for someone to give us what we think that we're worth. But as I look at it, you can't pay me what I'm worth. Only I can earn what I'm worth.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
Yeah.
It's easy to go out here and say, well, you know what? I'm gonna work for this job for 20 years. I'm gonna get a gold watch and a turkey. I'm gonna retire. That don't happen no more, bro.
Yeah.
I wish people would look at it for what it really is. You're not gonna work at a job for 30, 40 years, and you're gonna have a real retirement left over. These companies should run out with the whole golden goose.
Yeah.
Now, we at the point now, we take care of our parents in their old age. When the companies are supposed to be there for us. But what if I or you can teach someone how they can actually sustain themselves, not from just this first generation, but for generations to come? That's powerful for me. That's why I do the insurance, financial service industry.
Yeah, there's a saying that I think about when you're just chatting about work and all that. You're the type of person that there's a lot of talented people out there, but there's a saying that I love that's you got to outwork your talent.
All day.
You know what I mean? Outwork your talent, because there's a lot of talented people that never put in the work.
It's a lot of liars. Let's call it a spade, man. We gonna talk. Let's talk about it. There's a lot of liars out here. Man. I see them every day.
Yeah.
A lot of posers.
What do you think of the flossers?
If that's what you like.
Yeah.
I look at it like this. Let
me rent a car to post something.
You know that girl you see on the Instagram, that girl you really want to date, and you see her in real life, you're like, man, she all right. Then you see her on Instagram, you're like, damn. Like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Yeah,
These two
it's
different
scary,
people.
man. It's scary to me. I've seen that.
Yeah, it's scary, right? It's the same thing in our business. It's the same thing in our lives. It's the same thing in our processes. We want things so fast and so insta to the point that we won't put no work in. But you get upset with me when I tell you it's going to take you 18 months to get $250,000. 18 months, $250,000 that pays you for the rest of your life and your children's life, and you mad at me? But you rather go out there and stay at a job who don't care about you when you die, that will replace you when you pass away. Leave your
get old.
Leave your family out there with nothing to fall back on because you have no ownership in that company. Now what are you doing? But you can spend 18 months with me, become an apprentice, and learn something that's going to actually make you income. Whether you're in the insurance business, whether you're in the trucking business, whether you're in any walks of life, you can learn in 18 months, you can win. It's a difference, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
We ain't got to be scammers and posers out here. We ain't got to run a pyramid scheme. Because if your leadership is making all the money, you might be in the pyramid scheme.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm just letting it out to let you know what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a process for it.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. So there's something to be said about just being real out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are just there's a lot of posers there. What's kind of neat, I mean, we both got into this space of just kind of, we want to speak our truth and talk about the stuff that's, we want to talk about stuff out there, but it's not from we didn't do this to get successful. We got to a place where we go, okay, we have a voice, we have a voice internally, we have a company, but man, we want to spread the word.
Correct.
And kind of have a voice out there and hear it from people that's done it. Because again, there's a lot of posers and people that are maybe fake it till you make it, which is fine initially, right?
Correct.
Or more like faith it till you make it.
Correct.
Right. Versus fake it till you make it.
Correct.
I mean, it's me. That's what you're describing there.
Yeah.
The prayers and that
but
you were faithing it.
But you have to, the faith. Can I talk about faith for a second?
Oh yeah.
It's like a baby. A baby starts to scoot before they start to crawl. It's like they scoot, and then all of a sudden they fall over to their belly, and then all of a sudden they crawl. Then they crawl, then they pull themselves up. That's how faith works. People want to have this faith where that they can actually say a prayer and then actually move that mountain. It doesn't work that way. Because your fear at this point is bigger than your faith. You still scooting, and you talking about moving a mountain. That's when you're supposed to go ahead and partner with someone who can help you stand in the gap with that faith and that prayer to help move that mountain. It's a big difference when you've been, let's say, Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
And I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And I'm telling you, don't go to the dark side. You telling me, no, you're gonna take the high road, and you jump, I cut you in half. It's the reason why I told you don't take that side. But you think you have this much faith that's going to actually remove that mountain. You ain't ready for that yet. It takes time to get to the faith of where I'm at in life. I don't care what comes my way. And I know exactly what I'm saying to you. I don't care what comes my way. I have enough faith to know that my Father in heaven take care of it, no matter what it is. No matter what it is.
Well,
no matter how bad it is. Because I've already been there. I understand it. I get it. We all go through trials and tribulations. We all have our good season and our bad season. So he prepares you for that. But if you sit here and want to go through get to the top of the pole before you even scooting, your faith is rocky, man.
Yeah.
Example of this, I lost $8 million. 2012. Equity company went out of business. You know what I said to myself? Damn, I'm back where I started from. But it was one thing that I knew for a fact that really kept me where I was supposed to be. I made a smart investment. I did. I put $4 million away in a trust where I couldn't touch it until I retired. That was the best decision I ever made in my life. And I didn't want to do it. I did not want to listen. This lady walked, she said, Dr. Burns, I got a question for you. What if you lost everything tomorrow? Do you have anything saved away for yourself? It's like, no, but I'm good. I got 7 bank accounts. I mean, we straight. She said, what if you put it in a trust where you can't touch it until you retire? I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm good. No, I don't want to do it. I'm good. But it was that little bitty voice that was saying, hey, you better do something. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of losing everything I had before. Well, you don't have it anyway. It's not yours to begin with. I gave it to you.
Were you protecting yourself from yourself?
No, what I was doing was I was being a fool until I protected myself from myself. Because I had that fear. My faith wasn't big enough yet. It wasn't. I wasn't able to hear the voice I needed to hear. But when I did it. And as soon as I did it, I lost $8 million, saved $4 million. So he's never late. He's always on time. Yeah. Never late. I was on time. You know?
That's awesome, man. Let's segue into maybe some business thoughts for you and kind of what is if I was to be trained and mentored by someone like you and get associated with someone like you, what's that like? And whether it's I know your guiding force is obviously your faith and all that, and I've seen you, I just seen you operate, the way you operate, and it's incredible to witness it. But what's that like? If I was to get involved and what would be like the steps to win in your book?
Number 1, be open. Number 2, get your ego out the way. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know, so stop pretending like you do know. Yeah. Just because you have an LLC or S corporation doesn't mean you actually run a business. Cool, right? It sounds so good until you find out that your Social Security number is tied to your EIN number. Now, your credit score is your credit score. Yeah. It don't sound too good. Yeah. For me, if you're going to work with someone like me, you got to understand that I am not your typical mentor. I'm not. I don't have time to waste. Time is the only thing, Paul, that I can't get back. I can get money back. I can make new friends. I can build a new culture. But my time, once I'm gone, I'm gone. I need that time back. Yeah. I don't charge people for me to mentor them. I know I should, but I don't. Because everybody is not meant to come to my space. Yeah. See, I have a choice to make as well. You have a choice to make. And those who's probably watching this podcast or listening to this podcast have a choice to make. Do you want someone who's going to hold you accountable, or do you want somebody who's going to let you go willy-nilly into the sunset? So you can blame everybody for you not being successful except for yourself. Me, I have nobody to blame but myself. Every day I look in the mirror, I'm looking at what he created for me. He said, I created you in my own image. You are who you are. I am that I am. So if I choose not to work, it is a choice that I made. But when I choose to work in his wheelhouse, in his vortex, guess what? It's easy for me. So I can train you how to do these things and mentor you properly if you get your ego out your way and if you come with an open mind.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things that, God has given us. If there was one thing he gave us, was the power of choice, right? Yes. He doesn't give us a lot of things, but the choice between right and wrong and good and evil and all these different things. But it is the choices, right? So you got, and it could have been like the choice with the military you were telling me to, right? How you just pivot through this whole thing and then you let prayers and your faith guide you through those different things. And
our industry that we're in is very powerful. I mean, we're in a $1 trillion industry. And right now we have so many agents that I watch on Instagram, TikTok, and they're just so lost. If I walk to an agent, I ask an agent or agency owner. I love that. Yeah. I love agents. I love walking to an agency owner and they can't really talk to me about their business or the ROI or what they have. They can't. But when I see all these agents and agency owners, and we're in a $1 trillion industry, and they're space is like this much. It's so narrow, so narrow. And they live in check to check. Did you know that most of our financial service industry professionals don't have life insurance themselves? They can't even afford it.
Oh yeah.
You know that in their first year of business, they make less than $30,000 a year. That's sad. You know why that is?
No.
No leadership, no mentorship, no patience, hopping from company to company, to IMO to IMO to FMO, not focusing on the simple things. 1, 2, 3, ABC. It's the simple things that I do that made me $500,000 last year. You see my 1099s.
Well, one of the things that most people chase contracts, right? It's contract chasers. You know what I mean? I've been in the same space or same company for 2 decades. So it's not like it's all I've done, right? So most people chase contracts versus like a platform to generate income. It's 2 different things, right? Because 0 times 150 or whatever it is,
it's still 0.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
What if I told you they can't read contracts?
Yeah.
If you can't read your contract, it doesn't matter what your commission level is. Doesn't matter. Most agents can't read the contract in which they signed. It's different language. So how are you going to tell me what you're actually making? You can't even multiply the percentage rate by what the client is paying times 12 by what your payout is, because it's all over the place. So when you come into our industry, understand contracting first. If you don't understand contracting, get with a great leader that can help you read it, explain it to you, so you can understand actually what you're actually getting paid. So we have someone who's chasing commission. What they're telling you is, I don't understand business. It's real simple. Because I'd rather have 1% of 100 people doing my work than have 100% of my own work myself.
That's right, yeah.
That's the difference. So if I chase a 125% comp plan versus a 85% comp plan, but I have equity ownership in this company, I'm taking the equity ownership over the 125% comp plan all day. That's the difference between a business-minded person and someone being busy trying to be in business.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get into the business to write sales for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Right? It's not the model for freedom, right? The model for freedom is ability to do it when you want to.
Exactly.
Right? Transfer skill to others, develop people, but also you're developing something that has retention.
Correct.
Right? There's a retention side of things where you're not just losing people to anything. There's culture, there's environment, there's all the different facets, the intangibles, the tangibles, and then you add all the different components of an opportunity. So I think from that standpoint, I think there's a lot of mixed messages out there, right, with different things.
I know why that is. Because everything's so fancy and it's so perfect. I have to invite you into my world in order for you to mess my world up. You have to invite me in your world for me to mess your world up, right? But what happens when 2 worlds come together, collide, come together, and make perfect harmony? It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
In today's culture, which is our industry culture is so convoluted, or I should say diluted, to the point that when you have a new agent that comes into the industry, they don't know who to go follow. It's hard. You got all your big figures out here that's saying this and saying that, but who's actually doing the training?
Yeah.
So if you're not actually being trained in a way that you can actually make income for your family and your family's family, you out of business. And right now, these agents or agency owners don't realize that because the culture is not there.
Got it. That's big.
It's easy for us to talk about culture because we know what culture actually looks like.
Right.
It's hard to tell someone about culture when they never had a culture, when they are the culture, and their culture is to sit back and hopefully find somebody like you and I that can go out there and write $1 million for business and say, oh, I'm overriding this type of person here, but yet we go on no trips together. Yet I don't owe any equity in your stock in your company, have no stock in your company. If you were to die tomorrow, guess what? My company fall because I followed one person's situation and there's nothing there left for me. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's big, man. You got obviously you provide all this. Like if there was one wish in my career, if I had access to someone like you, the way you care about folks and lead them and guide them. And if I had access to someone like you, I know 100% I'd be far better off, right? I mean, I had somebody early on that helped me out, which it was a big blessing, taught me skills and all this stuff, and it kind of disappeared for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of disappeared for a few years, and I had to figure everything out on my own, right? Because there was no help till I got to like earning it,
correct,
quote unquote. I had to earn the leadership,
correct,
quote unquote. And so, what's obviously what's the you got? Tell me, as we wrap up, what's some of the things? What's some ways that people can get associated with you and kind of be part of your leadership and maybe scale with your company and all that stuff? Tell us a little bit about that as we wrap up. Because it's the first thing I would do. I would love to embrace if I was starting in the industry, it's the first thing I'd do is, man, I get a mentor and coach that's willing to teach me, and in a platform that allows them to scale, and in a system to back it up.
I'm very guarded. Everyone can't come into my world. Everyone don't deserve to come into my world. You have to understand that when I decide to partner with you, I'm giving you my energy, my space. So I'm very guarded. I'm very guarded, Paul, in that regard. But if someone really wanted to work with me, they can find me on Instagram. That's where I hang out at. Just DM me. I'm not going to DM you. But I want you to know one thing. You need to be ready to be held accountable. This is not a get rich quick scheme at all. It's not. You have to understand, do you know yourself first? If you don't know yourself, why are you coming to me to teach you about you? Number 3, you have to be willing to invest in yourself, whether that's time, money, or both. You got to tell your wife and your husband and your children, hey, mommy or daddy's going to be away for at least 6 months. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go through some crying times. Yeah. I'm going to cry for like 6 months to get us across this bridge. But I got a great mentor who's going to hold me by the hand until I get across this bridge. And once we get across this bridge, then I'm going to let you know when you're ready to go on your own. Because I want to make sure that when you come into my brand, that its brand lives forever. Then your brand lives forever.
Trust the process, baby.
All day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. Dr. Burns in the house, and real is rare.
All day. Thank you, brother.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Let's do it again.
All the time.
Yeah. Do it with the wives. Yeah?
Well, I got to get a wife.
Fiance.
There you go.
Fiance or no?
Gotta get one.
Is it fiance?
Gotta get one, yes. Yes.
Yeah, all right. I'm putting you on the spot.
He said, wife. I ain't got a wife now. She be calling you, Paul, where's she at, Paul? See, Paul, what you started, brother? You can't do that.
When's the wedding date?
That's all. I don't get involved.
I'm out of this. All right. Have a great one, man.
Cool.